Hello. Hello, thank you for being here. I am so glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about some books. And I love getting a book as a gift, a good book as a gift, correction. And I love giving books as gifts. I love reading them, so I love getting them. They also wrap beautifully, lovely little squares of delight. And there are so many books to choose from. So many. And if you know someone who likes to read, you might be thinking, what do I get them? How do I know? Like you walk into a bookstore, you have thousands of options. How do you know which one? Well, if you were stumped on that question, if you don't know, I have some options for you. We're getting close to Christmas. So, I hope that if you're in a pickle, this helps you. Or maybe it's next year. Maybe you're watching this in August. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe. And I'm going to show you 5 books that I think are fabulous and that I think will be liked by a lot of people. So let me jump right in. The first one that I want to recommend to you as a possible gifting option this season is The Odd Woman by George Gissing. Okay, this book, if you have been watching any of my videos the past few months, I'm sure you have heard about it. I read it earlier this year reread it, I guess, earlier this year and just was reminded of how much I loved it and how good it is. This is a Victorian novel. We love a Victorian novel around here. They are fun and sometimes a little weird. This one is very interesting because, one, it offers a really detailed, realistic picture of what day-to-day life during that time was like, which is very interesting. It also talks a lot about women and their position in society and the pickle that they happen to be in during that time period. They were having a little bit of a crisis. And this book deals with it in a really impressive and complex and elegant way, but at the same time just being a really good story. It's not that common, but it should be. It should be read as much as Pride and Prejudice, you know? And so this one is my first recommendation. Okay. I have a little horse today. Gonna hold up my books all nice. Okay. Yes, I really hope a lot of you read this because it is a treat. Okay, the second one. The second one I want to recommend to you is something that initially, when I saw it, I thought, gonna be hard and boring. Okay, that's what I thought. And I was wrong. Okay, this is called Tartuffe by Molière. It is originally in French, so if you are a French speaker, get it in French. This is an English translation. I couldn't find a French copy when I was looking earlier this year. And it is a play. It is very short. It could be tucked in a stocking very easily. And it is hilarious. Okay, I was literally cackling out loud. This book is so funny. This little play. It's short. It is very accessible. You think, oh, a really old French play, boring, wrong. Okay, you read it and you're like, oh, these are the same problems that we have. These are the same jokes that we make. And it would be a true delight if you can get someone to read this. Molière is like this, or not Molière, Tartuffe is this hypocritical, I guess, religious figure who just makes a fool of himself. It's funny. I was on the edge of my seat, read it in maybe one sitting. Very fun. Okay? Tartuffe by Molière is my second recommendation for a Christmas gift. All right. The third one I'm going to suggest will also not be a surprise to anyone who has been watching, but it is Dracula, okay, by Bram Stoker. This another Victorian novel. Victorian novels are, it's hard to go wrong. They are great. And it's a time period that wasn't so far away. So you're not reading Old English or a ton of weird spellings. It's a very accessible time period for the modern reader. Okay. But you get such good richness that a lot of times is lacking in contemporary books. I'm sorry I said it. Okay. Hard to find sometimes. Hard to find. But, okay, Dracula, Bram Stoker. This book, it was kind of exactly what I thought it was going to be, and also so much more. This is kind of fun because everyone knows about Dracula. You have this image in your head. Dracula is such a part of our common culture. This is great for anyone who's obsessed with Halloween. And reading the book about where this character came from, and what he actually represents in this story. It is so good. I flew through this book. I was on the edge of my seat this whole time. I had to see how it was going to resolve. And I was not disappointed. Okay. Dracula, it's kind of creepy a little bit, a little spooky, but still very fundamentally good and enjoyable, and honestly kind of a must read. This book for a lot of people really has blown, I have a bunch of friends who have read this recently in the past couple of years, and it is a group favorite. Okay, loved by all. You might be thinking, I know the story, I don't want to read that, I don't want to read about vampires. You're wrong. You do, and everyone you know also wants to. All right, we have a little Broadview sandwich. Lovely. The fourth thing I want to recommend to you as a little gift guide idea are plays again. Okay. Plays by Oscar Wilde. Now, I have only read The Ideal Husband by Oscar Wilde, and I very much enjoyed it. And I assume his other plays are similar, along the same lines, and probably just as good. So if you can find any of his plays, I think these are great. I often don't read a ton of plays or reach for them, but I'm realizing they are actually a very enjoyable form to read. And a lot of times they are short, and so I find a lot of people these days don't quite have the attention spans that one used to have, perhaps, and so if someone is trying to get back into reading or is very busy, has a lot going on, plays are nice because they are short, stuff happens quickly, but they still have weight and sustenance to them. Oscar Wilde, there he is, the man himself, writes hilarious plays. These are also funny. I feel like sometimes you just need a good little laugh, and so we got lots of funny material. Okay, it's also Victorian, written during the Victorian time period and set in that period. A lot of very interesting commentary about art and culture and life, and also just fun, I don't know if fun's the word, interesting, captivating stories. And again, plays are little, you can tuck them in a stocking. So good. So good. Okay. Wow, this is a delightful bundle. If you gave someone this stack, you'd be in the good books. You know what I'm saying? You know, say it. Okay, the last book that I wanted to recommend to you as a little gift that you could get someone or yourself is a book that I do not have a physical copy of, but is very, very good. As you may or may not know, I am very deeply in love with the Irish and their literature and their art. And so I cannot, Oscar Wilde is Irish, so we even have more sneaking in. And Stoker might be a little Irish, I don't know. Anyway, not important. But I really love The Dubliners by James Joyce. This is a collection of short stories, which I think is also a really great format to give someone, especially if maybe, I mean, short stories are loved by people who love to read. Also, a good format for someone who maybe doesn't have as much time. Maybe it's a little busy. Maybe isn't used to reading for hours at a time. Because obviously they're shorter. But they are jam-packed with good stuff. Okay? I have been obsessed with Araby by James Joyce this fall. I've read it a bunch of times. And I convinced my friend to buy a collection for herself. I almost bought it for myself. And then I thought, Renee, you don't need more books right now. Hold off. But I'm a little regretting it. We'll see. I'll just borrow it from her. But these stories are very interesting. And they feel sometimes a little sad, sometimes powerful, sometimes quiet. And a lot of them are centered around this idea of an epiphany. When you have this moment of realization, they're very good. And anyone who has read them, I'm sure, will also tell you that. I love reading and buying old books. One, they are a lot of them are very accessible. You can find them secondhand a lot. So often you get more bang for your buck, more stories for your dollar. And they also, if you want to be very fancy, a lot of classic books, novels, plays can be found in really beautiful, elaborate editions. If you're looking for a gift that's a bit schnazzier, a bit fancy. Or you can go for guys like this that are the Dover thrift editions that, like, the paper barely stays in the book. Lots of levels here. Lots of levels. Anyway, just one of the reasons I love old books. But I hope that this little set, plus Dubliners, will give you at least some ideas if you are stumped, for your friends or for yourself. If you're like, I need some ideas for my own reading. These are excellent places to start, to finish, to read in the middle. That's it. I just wanted to leave you a small little list. I could give you a list of 100 books that I think are really, really good. But that would be overwhelming and not very helpful. So I didn't do that. I reined it in. I tried to just pick books that I had recently read. And so I knew were still so delicious. I hope this helps. I hope you're having a lovely day. I hope your Christmas shopping is going well and that it's almost done. And that you are having a restful, peaceful Advent. And that you get some time to read. Have a good day. I will talk to you very soon. Bye.